Miyamoto Musashi lived in Japan about 500 years ago. Even after 500 years, he is still considered Japan's greatest swordsman. He was a great samurai, a philosopher, and a swordsman. He was raised as a Buddhist. He was Kenzi, which means a sword saint of Japan. He was one of the world's greatest swordsmen that anybody has ever seen. Musashi wandered around Japan all his life. Throughout his life, he remained undefeated many times in one-to-one fights. In the last days of his life, he went to live alone in a cave. He meditated there for several months in seclusion. Then, just a week before his death, he wrote a book for his favorite disciple. The name of that book was Dokudo, which means the way of walking alone. He wrote down what he learned throughout his life in 21 principles. In this video, we will discuss 5 principles of Miyamoto Musashi, which can transform anyone's life. These principles are not new, but they are very accurate and effective because it contains the essence of Musashi's whole life, which he wanted to give to his disciple. If we can apply even one of these principles in our life, then our whole life can transform. So, the first principle that Musashi gave us is accepting everything just the way it is. This is the first and very important principle of Miyamoto Musashi. It means that if we remain attached to our ideas of how things should be in our life, then there will be no lasting peace in our life. In simplified language, these principles mean that if we want to live a happy and peaceful life, then we need to accept everything that happens in our life. There are only 2 ways we can live a happy and peaceful life. Either everything starts happening according to our wish, or we learn to be happy in every condition. Now, practically, it is impossible that everything starts to happen according to our wishes, but it is possible that we learn to be happy in every condition. Therefore, if we want to live a happy and peaceful life, then whatever happens in our life, we must accept it as if it is happening according to our wishes. This will miraculously transform your whole life. Because of the time you spend worrying or complaining, you can spend that time working on improving yourself by being conscious. The next principle that Miyamoto Musashi gave us is doing not to seek pleasure for its own sake, which means that don't do anything just for the sake of sensual gratification. Most people consider happiness that comes only from the senses, like seeing, eating, hearing, or touching. But they forget that the pleasure derived from the senses is of short duration. And indulging in excessive sensual pleasures can make you addicted to them, or even harm your health. For example, if someone intoxicates just for pleasure, then this can lead him to become a drug addict. Or if someone eats more just to enjoy the taste of food, then this can make him sick. If we seek pleasure for only the sake of pleasure, then we may have instant gratification, but we will never get long-lasting pleasure. Therefore, instead of seeking pleasure for a while, we should aim to do something of more meaning, which will allow us to achieve a greater level of satisfaction. Make the purpose of your life bigger. Just leave the small blessings to achieve this goal. The happiness that you will get from this will be much bigger than the sensual pleasure. The happiness you get without censors is called joy, and this joy lasts for a long time. The third principle of Miyamoto Musashi is to not under any circumstances to depend on a partial feeling. This principle of Musashi suggests that there are thousands of thoughts going on in our mind that inspires us to do something. And as soon as a thought arises in our mind, and we get inspired to do something, we immediately start doing it. We start doing something only on the basis of a temporary feeling in our mind, which can change after some time. But later on, we discover that this was not of my interest. And then we start regretting our decision, and then we change our way. For example, suppose a student has completed his study. Now he is looking for a job or he wants to start some business. Now many thoughts and ideas come to his mind. Then he meets a very successful businessman. Seeing the success of that businessman, he decides to do the same business. But after some time, he feels that he is not passionate about the business he is doing. Then he leaves that business and starts some other business. Now this student is taking quick action as per thoughts of his mind, and thus he is depending on partial feeling of his mind. This will give him nothing but failure. Therefore, here Musashi says that do not do anything just by getting inspired by the temporary feeling that arises in your mind. Rather, wait for some time. Let your mind be clear, and let your mind be sure what you should do. Only then do something by doing this. Your chances of getting success in whatever you do will increase considerably. Musashi's fourth principle is, think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. This principle of Musashi tells us that humility is a great virtue. One should always be humble and should never be stubborn about one's thoughts and beliefs. Rather, one should also listen to other people's views as well. If we will only accept our own beliefs to be correct and do not listen to the views of others, then we will never be able to acquire wisdom. But when you don't just think that only you are right and also start understanding others' point of view, then you start learning in your life. For example, when your parents or teachers criticize you for something at that time, if you do not mind their words and start understanding and seeing from their point of view, then you will start to move forward in your life and start to become a better person. With this quality, you will start to see something better in the people around you and in the events happening in your life. You will start seeing a lot of subtle details that you have missed till now. Therefore, always acquire humility in your life and never be stubborn about your thoughts and beliefs. The next principle of Miyamoto Musashi is do not forget what you have done. This principle of Musashi suggests that man is the effigy of mistakes. Man learns in life by doing mistakes. There is no such person in the world who has not committed any mistake in his life. But important thing is, one should always learn a lesson from mistakes and move forward in life. Always thinking about past mistakes will only hurt you and will not let you move forward in your life. Life moves only in the forward direction. There is no way back to past. Whatever has happened in past has happened. We cannot rectify it or correct it. The thing we can do is just learn a lesson from our past and resolve not to repeat those past mistakes again. We should not dwell in the past or regret our past actions. Rather, we must live in the present moment. This brings confidence and acceptance in us. Therefore, whatever mistake you have made in the past or whatever wrong has happened to you in the past, you should not regret it. Otherwise, you will never be able to learn what is worth learning. Friends, these are the 5 principles of Miyamoto Musashi, by which you can bring positive change in your life. To implement these principles in your life, you have to remember these principles every day, and whenever you sit to meditate, take a resolution that you will apply these 5 principles in your life. If you could apply even one of these 5 principles in your life, then believe me, very soon, a positive transformation will start to happen in your life. Thank you for being watchful video. I hope you understand life lesson from this video. If you feel better, please subscribe to this channel. Last but not least, thank you for watching the Anything is Possible tribe. Stay smile and have a great day.